just keeping it, I'm just keeping it, I'm just keeping it, yeah. Give them something, they give them something, they give them something, they yeah. If they're tired of being stressed out and been depressed about it, yeah. We gon' let you know.
Yo, it's official, like a referee with a whistle. So are beautiful women better in bed? The hot chicks, are they really better in the sack? Yeah, this is something that it's kind of a fantasy that a lot of guys have, that somehow just because a woman is good, that she has to be good in other areas. And that's kind of, it sounds good. It might look good too, at least in your mind. But in reality, it really depends on the woman. And looks ain't got nothing to do with it. Really, if you go on just looks itself, in most cases, I would say women that aren't so attractive, or at least ones that you aren't so attracted to, in most cases, they're probably better. Is the ones that's highly attractive, at least in your mind. That's been my experience. Looks ain't really got nothing to do with it all, really. And it's good to keep in mind that her attractiveness to you is going to have a lot to do with how she's in bed. That's another thing you have to keep in mind. Because, and this is why a lot of guys in particular don't like talking about this. Women are talking about it all day long amongst themselves. A lot of guys don't like talking about this because, and this is why a lot of guys keep getting the lazy suck, the lazy, I got a headache and all, the BS. You heard it all. You know the drill. Fortunately, this has never happened to me. I've never experienced a woman telling me she didn't want to do nothing because she got a headache or I'm tired. That's never happened to me. I'm happy. I'm happy that it's never happened. But I have a different approach. I try to be like most people. And I learned this at an early age. This didn't happen like yesterday or a year or two ago. No, I saw this at an early age. I learned from people as a teenager. I saw people do certain things. I was like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like him. You know what I'm saying? This is like always. My parents are my heroes. My parents are my heroes. I got sisters and brothers, but I always say, even though we might have the same parents, there's something that I got from my parents that the rest of my sisters and brothers didn't get. And I don't know what that is, but they didn't get it. And I got it. And I'm happy I got it. And I always say my parents, my heroes. So I saw how they interacted with each other, and I saw how they interacted with people outside as well. So I learned from them. I sit back and watching as a kid, all the way to my teenage years, and then I started watching other people that I admired and respected. Some I was like, hey, I like some of the stuff they do, and some of the stuff I like. I don't want to be like him when I grow up. You know, it's like I have older brothers, and I was like, yo, I don't want to be like my older brother. I don't want to be like my bro. When I get to his age, because it's a 10-year gap between my brothers. So I just, you have to realize that most of the stuff that people are saying online, a lot of it is just flat out lies. In most cases, doesn't work. Doesn't work amongst people that's living their everyday life. People online are just saying anything to get views and clicks today. It wasn't always like that, but that's how it is today. But it's a small percentage of people that's giving you some real world stuff that you can take today and apply it today or apply it tomorrow. It's very 10% at this point. 90% of people are pretty much saying and doing the same thing. And I never wanted to be a part of that crowd. Never. Because it's like, it doesn't go anywhere. It's not going to last. Some people are going to phase out, and then some of the people are going to have to start all over again. And then some of the people, you ain't going to see them no more. Yeah, that's how it is online now. That's how it goes. So some of the stuff people are saying, they're just saying it just to be saying it. Or they're saying it because somebody else is saying it. But a lot of the stuff people are saying it's like a fantasy. It's like being in the strip club, in a sense. Stuff that happens in the strip club, it doesn't happen anywhere else. No woman is going to pretend to like you outside of the strip club, and you never gonna find out about it. In the strip club, a girl will pretend to like you as long as you keep the money flowing. Outside of the strip club, you're not going to be able to do that. If you're around a woman over time, you will realize, oh, she don't really like me. You know what I'm saying? But in the strip club, you can put on an act or put on a front. Outside of the strip club, that doesn't work. No, it ain't gonna work like that. To see, the strip club is a structured environment. So the rules are there. Unwritten rules and written rules are there. And if you break them, you get kicked out. But see, that doesn't apply outside the strip club. Even some cities is like that. Like New York City is what we call a bubble, right? Where things happen in New York City doesn't happen nowhere else across the country. And if you take those same rules and go somewhere else outside of New York City, it's not going to work. Because see, you have to understand, you got these subgroups. It could be, you got subgroups within cities and even certain cultures. It just, those things work there. in that small little area. Well, you might say, well, New York is a big city. It is a big city, but not compared to the rest of the country. Not compared to the rest of the United States of America. New York City, small. If you listen to New York, the rest of the USA. You know what I'm saying? This is why I say a culture. They have customs. Within those, let's take Japan for a second. Let's take Japan. If you go to Japan, there's things that they want over there that works there and there only. When some of those people go elsewhere and talk like they talk and do the same, usually on a regular basis, people will be like, I don't know what the hell you talking about. It doesn't work. Compute other places. It doesn't matter how the girl look. See, culture evolves, expands over time, and it has value for almost everybody. Let's take hip hop culture. Hip hop is real culture because it's, whether you like hip hop music or not, or any aspects of hip hop culture or not, there's something for everybody worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Even the military is another good example of this. Whether you like the military or care about the military, there's something for everybody worldwide. We have our certain ways of speaking. We have our certain ways of speaking in every branch of the military. We have our way of speaking in hip hop culture. We have our way of speaking in New York City. But in certain pockets of the world, certain quote cultures, they're stuck in that little pocket where they're at. Like I said, culture adapts, expands over time. And it's something for everybody that they can use, whether they want it or not. And the way the woman looks ain't got nothing to do with it. It ain't got nothing to do with it, really. I mean, a girl in Japan, you might say, oh, she look good. Yeah, but she might be horrible in the sack. It's really gonna be on you. When it comes to that, you have to take the lead in the bedroom and out the bedroom. That's really up to you as a man. Because letting a woman lead in the bedroom is, you know, I think it's okay sometimes. But in the beginning, I think you should, like, as you're getting to know somebody, you just meeting somebody, getting to know them. Because, see, you have to understand, they have to learn, and you have to learn them to have a good experience. See, a lot of times we think that just because she looks good or she's at a certain age that she should know better. No, that's not true. Or she's from a certain country or speak a certain language or whatever people make up in their mind. No, that don't got nothing to do with none of that. No. You know, look, when you meet when a woman meets you, she's starting all over again. Stuff she did with some other guy, God knows what that may be. You might not like any of that stuff. So never assume just because she looks a certain type of way that she's better. I mean, a woman that's a 5 might be better because she knows you. Y'all have a certain type of vibe, you know. But if a woman is from, let's take Japan, because I've been to Japan many times. If a woman is from Japan and you from America, there's a good chance y'all not going to be compatible. Y'all gonna have to do some work in that area in the bedroom. Y'all gonna have to do some work because she's already coming from a submissive background anyway. You know, where I don't know what these guys like in Japan. I don't know. But I know just being around them for years, they don't like the same thing I like. So you're gonna have to show her, you know, what you like. And then you have to learn what she likes. But 9 times out of 10, whatever you like, she's gonna like. That's usually how it goes. You know, if she's a Japanese girl. Now, if she's from South America, you know, you just gonna have to get to know each other. Y'all gonna have to figure out what works for y'all. You know, but none of this has anything to do with looks. This has to do with how your upbringing was, how you were raised, where you from, the culture, if you want to call it that. Yeah, that's what it has to do. As an individual, that's what it's gonna come down to at the end of the day. Yeah, looks has very little to do with this at all, really. Now, let me tell you what I found. There's some women, not a lot, but there's some women have an entitlement mentality. You know, I haven't this, but I've heard stories where some guys told me that if took a certain type of way, she doesn't feel like she has to please a man or go down on the man or on. You know, I've heard stories like this. I personally haven't met anyone like this, but I've heard stories like this. I heard stories where the woman was like, "Oh, I'm not going to do this and that," you know, because she feels like the guy should serve her or do whatever she wants. Whatever he wants doesn't matter. I've heard stories like this. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories like this. But like I said, I haven't met anyone that's like this. Now, if I did meet someone like this, I would probably go my separate ways. I would go my separate ways. Yeah, you know, and that's okay. Cause look, everybody is not for everybody. There's some guy that's willing to be like that for her. Just like there's some woman that's willing to incorporate the way I want. You know, the way I want to engage and have a relationship with. See, everybody's not for everybody. You have to find the person that works best for you. That's probably one of the biggest things I learned in life since I've been living. That everybody is not for everybody. I would say most people are not be for you that you meet on a. It's only going to be a small percentage of people. And looks ain't going to really have much to do with it. You know, look, being good looking, a man or a woman to the opposite sex, that's good for grabbing attention. Yeah, that's good. That's like the grabber. And then when we see something we like, something that looks good, smells good, then we want to talk. We interested now. Now we want to talk. That's like an introduction. But that doesn't guarantee that until we get to know them. And it takes time. And you have to learn them, they have to learn you, and they have to be open to learn you. And then this is a corporation. This is a dual relationship that we're talking about. This is not like a one-man street or one-woman street. This is not like, the one person. There's a give and take. It's not a one person get what they want and neglect the other person. That's not a relationship. That's more like a dictatorship. So, I talk about a lot of this stuff in my books. Love Can't Wait and Boss Life Secrets. And passing by the way, I got a new book coming out top of next year. It's probably going to be the best and the last book I have on dating. I'll save the best for last. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned for that. And leave your comment. So like. Till next time, I'm out.
Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight. But then I saw the sky and that I like. Here from Cali, I live in the valley.